Hey there and welcome back. Today we want to share a couple of things with you guys that we found to be really useful last week and the week before when we were sick in this household.
It's a very rare occasion that the whole house gets sick at the same time. Typically, if that happens, it's like one person gets sick and then by the time they're getting better, then somebody else is sick. So there's always somebody that's up on their feet, but last week was not the case. We were all three down for the count.
Out of commission.
Yeah.
So we wanted to share with you guys 10 of the items that we have prepped in our house already just to have on hand for emergencies like this or what have you, that really came in handy while we were sick, that we actually put to use, and we thought it was a good idea to share with you guys. You know, even if you don't get sick or have some kind of emergency situation where you can't leave the house, these items will come in handy anytime. And for us, it was the case where we were homebound for at least like 10 days. We did not leave the house. Thankfully, we do have family that lives close by that made a couple of drops of food and that kind of thing. But we really did put some of our pantry preps to use that week. And so we just thought it would be a good idea to share with you guys. And we hope you guys take something away from this video and can put it to use in your house as well.
The first item on our list is filtered water, some kind of water filtration system. Only reason being is you need to stay hydrated during all times of the year, but particularly when you're sick, you need to push fluids. And having a good source of filtered water on hand was imperative for us.
If you don't drink tap water, which you probably shouldn't because there's a lot of junk in there, but if you don't, you need to make sure that you have some bottles of water that's stocked up and stored away, or make sure that you have plenty of filters for your refrigerator. Just in case the filter goes bad during that week, you can restock that or whatever. We have a Berkey water filtration system that is good for like 1 million gallons or something like that. So we've been filtering so much water through that. I think we were filling it up pretty much every day, every other day, because all three of us being sick again, we were going through a lot of water. So be sure that you have some kind of water filtration on hand. And if for some reason there's some kind of emergency situation where you couldn't use the tap water, you know, the Berkey is supposed to be good for filtering out like 99% of everything. So you could still use that water. But if not, maybe things like water tablets that dissolve in the water and rid of all of the bacteria and that kind of thing, or some way to boil water. But definitely think about your water source, because without water, there's no life. And I think too, even having more than one source of water, we keep jugs of water on hand as well. And we do have some of the tablets, we have life straws, we have all kinds of methods of filtering water, because that's one thing that you should never rely on one source for. So the next item on our list is canned foods, or just pantry items. The last thing that was on my mind was cooking food. And like I said, we did have some family that came and dropped off some things, which we were very thankful for. But you know, we live a good 20 minutes from everybody, and they have lives and jobs and everything. So there were some meals that we had to prep ourselves. And so those canned chicken noodle soups, even though they're not as good as homemade, it's just nice to have on hand. Having good quality sources of protein. We did a video on canning our own venison, you know, canned tuna, canned chicken, peanut butter. I know sometimes when you're sick, you don't feel like eating meat even, so peanut butter is a great source of protein. But just having a good pantry stock, that if you were to be stuck in the house for a week, 10 days, or a month even, that you can go to your pantry and you have plenty to eat and sustain your family until you can get back out.
The third item on our list is medicine. Again, this kind of hit us out of the blue. I mean, nobody plans on getting sick. And luckily we had plenty of vitamins.
Supplements.
just things that, I mean, you probably don't need months worth of stockpile, but having a few weeks worth could come in handy. It came in useful for us, just being able to go to the pantry or go to the medicine cabinet and get what we needed. So
yeah, and for us, we don't use a ton of medicine ever.
No.
We take a pretty regular supply of supplements as far as like vitamins and probiotics and stuff like that. But as far as like Tylenol and, pain relievers, that kind of thing, we don't really mess with that a whole lot. We actually haven't had any in the house in a long time, but just recently I did a trip to Aldi and got a whole bunch of stuff stocked up on, and I saw that they had some ibuprofen there, and it was a good price, and I thought, well, I'll just get it and put it in our first aid kit just to have on hand. And it came in handy this past week. I know that with body aches and, if you're not able to sleep, that kind of thing, having one here and there is definitely a lifesaver. And two, with your medicine preparations, make sure that you're checking your expiration dates, because like I said, we don't use medicines very often. So we have a drawer that probably has a lot of expired items in there. So when you're, stocking up your medicine cabinet and your pantry and that kind of thing, be sure to pay attention to expiration dates. For me, if it's within a couple of months, I'm still going to use it. But, if you're a couple of years past, then it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah.
So
this fourth item kind of goes hand in hand with the first and third item, water and medicine, but it's electrolytes. With pushing all those fluids through your body, and you're probably not eating a full nutritious meal every 3 times a day, you're probably not getting all the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. Having electrolytes to supplement that is important when you're sick or when you're just out working and it's hot outside, or even if it's cold outside. Just your body is going through an immense amount of stress, and those electrolytes just help balance things out and make sure that you're running optimal.
Staying hydrated is the key. And again, like he said, not only when you're sick, but on a homestead or whatever, you're doing a lot of rigorous activities and working, sweating, and so electrolytes always come in handy. I feel like because of the quality of the water that we have today, it's so filtered that there's not many electrolytes that are left in it. So having a regular electrolyte source is important.
Yeah, and I would say be careful on where you get your electrolytes. I grew up drinking Gatorades and Powerades and things like that because that's what was taught to us. I played sports growing up, and we, even after the fact, like, I just associated with being dehydrated or playing sports or working out or whatever with, I need a Gatorade. But that was just because that's what I knew. Not talking junk on Gatorade, but it's full of sugar. There's like 30 something grams of sugar in one Gatorade. It's basically just sugar water. So unless you're really exerting a lot of energy and you're playing sports at a crazy level, like the average person doesn't need that.
There are a lot more natural sources of electrolytes now. Thankfully, things are starting to get a little bit cleaner. There's one that we actually got in. I had ordered it before we got sick and came in during us being sick, so it was right on time. And that's by Redmond, which is a salt company. We've promoted them a little bit here and there with our canning videos. We use their salt, and we just love their products. So we tried their electrolytes while we were sick, and tastes great. And I feel like it was definitely beneficial while we were sick, and something that we'll continue to use even after. So next on our list is essential oils. I know a lot of people have been getting a little bit more into essential oils as they have been becoming more popular and more readily available, but they really are like a second medicine cabinet, and if you know how to use them, a lot of times they can be your first medicine cabinet. And like I said, we don't really use a lot of medicines in this house, so our essential oils are really kind of our first go-to. and the other stuff is just like a last ditch effort kind of thing. But having things like peppermint and eucalyptus and those really like menthol type oils to help open your sinuses. There are antiviral, antibacterial oils such as tea tree and thyme and like the thieves blend and that kind of thing that you can diffuse in your house, and you can use it to clean things that will kill viruses and bacteria and that kind of thing. I feel like that would be a whole nother video getting into it, but just having your basic essential oils on hand really do come in handy. And not only when you're sick, again, these are things that can help you sleep. They can help if you have a stomach ache, you know, bad digestion, just all kinds of different things. There is basically an oil for everything. So I believe in them so much that it made our top 10 list and is something that we will always have on hand. Then next on our list would be Epsom salts. This is something, obviously you need a bathtub to utilize it when you're sick. Using that salt that's full of magnesium while you're soaking, it just really helps you to detox. It pulls a lot of impurities out of your bloodstream. It does help with the muscle aches and cramps. It really does just relax your body, and it's just a great way to kind of end a rough day after being sick, and right before you get into bed, it's just great to have an Epsom salt bath. And again, Epsom salts are great for all kinds of things, not just when you're sick. You can use them in the garden for a source of magnesium for your plants. Epsom salt is a great thing to keep on hand, and it's relatively cheap to buy, you know, big bags of it. Just again, watch out what you're buying. Same goes for essential oils. Make sure that you're getting a good quality salt, that there's very minimal ingredients. You don't want a bunch of fragrances and all these kinds of additives in there. When we buy essential oils and salts and things that we eat and consume and that kind of thing, I look for the least amount of ingredients as possible. Just the way that nature has created it is really the best way to go.
Number 7 on our list is batteries. You never know when the batteries are gonna die on something, and the last thing you want to worry about is having to go to the store to get replacement batteries for something that you need when you're sick. We ran into, it wasn't our thermometer, it was
Different thermometer.
Yeah, a different thermometer. It was right after we were on the tail end of getting sick and Thanksgiving, and I was smoking a ham, and I needed a meat thermometer, and the one that we have took batteries, and it just so happened that the batteries were on the way out. Luckily we had some spares, and we were able to swap them out, but you know, that's not I guess it could be not life or death, but you know, you want to know when the ham is done. You don't want
to undercook that ham.
You don't want to undercook it, so.
Yeah, and you know, regular thermometers for taking your family's temperature or remotes. I mean, there were days where it was really hard to get off the couch and do things, and you know, having the remote for the TV or the fireplace or whatever, you know, I know that sounds kind of like needy, but when you're feeling terrible, it's nice to have things within hand's grasp. And again, things tend to go out while you're sick and not feeling well. So like smoke detectors or something like that. So we always have a good stock of batteries on hand, AA's, AAA's, watch batteries, 9 volts, things that, you know, if anything in the house goes out, we can run to the basket and have a replacement really quickly for them.
We learned the 9-volt thing the hard way. I was away from work, and Brooke and Reagan were home alone, and I don't know, like midnight, 1 a.m., the smoke detector decides it wants to go off because the batteries are messing up. Yeah. And we didn't have any 9 volts on hand. So we learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Have plenty of 9 volts on hand to swap out in your smoke detectors.
Yeah, it's not fun to wake up to the smoke detector in the middle of the night, especially while you're home alone, and it's just,
yeah,
try not to do that again. After batteries, I put on our list a sourdough starter. Now this is something that we didn't use this time because frankly, we were just too sick. We were really sick this time. But I know that times in the past, I have been well enough to still cook and do whatever we need to do. But having a sourdough starter on hand allows you to bake bread pretty easily with very minimal ingredients. You can make crackers, just other kinds of easy foods. You know, when you're sick, you don't want really heavy, greasy foods like that stuff. You want more like more bland foods, and a lot of times that looks like toast and crackers. Very simple. So having a sourdough starter on hand allows you to make those things relatively easy and quickly. We did not use it this time, like I said, but it's something that we will keep on hand regardless whether we're sick or not, because I can just pull it out of the refrigerator, bring it back up to room temperature, feed it, and have a loaf of bread the next day. So it's great to have on hand, and they're very easy to make. I think maybe one day I'll make a video on how to make a sourdough starter, because it's just something that's so simple that I feel like every household can do it, and it's cheap and it's worth it. So the next item on our list is entertainment. And you know, I know it's easy to turn the TV on or to scroll your phone when you're not feeling well, but after hours and hours of staring at a screen, and especially if you have a headache that hurts your eyes, sometimes it doesn't do too well on your eyes and your neck and everything watching TV. So having other things to keep you busy if you're awake. We pulled out the sewing machine one day, Reagan and I taught her how to sew. We did a couple of sewing projects, and just having things on hand that if, you know, for some reason your TV is out or you don't have your phone, whatever, you have other means of entertainment. So
yeah, we played cards.
Lots of cards, yep. Board games, crossword puzzles, regular puzzles, and things that don't take too much brain power. Whenever you're sick, the last thing you want to do, I think we did try to play one game where it took like a lot of critical thinking, and I'm like, I just can't, like, I don't have it. I can't do it. Let's do something easy like Guess Who. But having entertainment, it's good, helps keep your morale up, you know, when you've been locked in the house for several days and there are days where you feel like you're not getting any better. Having something to kind of distract you and bring a little joy, make everybody laugh a little bit, it does help kind of get through those times. But we did watch a lot of TV this time.
Too much TV.
We've watched a lot of I Love Lucy. So lots of laughing, which is good. Laughter is good medicine. Yeah. Lucy's the best.
Number 10 on our list, and this one's important to me for several reasons, but having a low maintenance homestead and plenty of feed on hand for the animals on the homestead. I prefer for this not to feel like a time suck. Yes, it's our homestead. It's what we've decided to do to help, you know, raise our own food and things like that. But I also don't want it to take all day to get the daily chores done. Really, we have it set up pretty much like when we were sick last week. You could get out in about 5 to 10 minutes, have the animals fed, make sure their waters are topped off, and come back inside and rest. Now, there are things that we could do to completely automate it, but I don't think that's wise either, because I do think that time with the animals, looking at their infrastructure, looking at their waters, their feeders, their housing, their fencing, yeah, make sure they look healthy, make sure that it doesn't look like any predators got after them. Like, there needs to be some hands-on aspect to it, but it doesn't need to be so intense that you're breaking your back to do so.
Yeah, for us, you know, that looks like larger feeders. For our chickens, we can fill them with plenty of feed and not have to worry about refilling them every so many days. And then large waters, the same. So for us, for our chickens, all we had to do, we do free range them during the day. So we'd go out and just open the fence, let them come out. We'd check the eggs, make sure water, feed was good. And that was pretty much it. Our pigs, we don't have a large feeder for them because we don't want them to be eating all the food all day long. So You know, it's as easy as a scoop of food in the morning, scoop of food at night. They have a large water barrel that stays full, and we're moving them about every 7 days right now. So that gave us plenty of time to break in between. There was one day that we did need to move them. We were getting a little farther past that time period that we wanted to have them on this plot of land. So thankfully my parents came over and helped us move them over. But it's simple. It's all, you know.
That was another part about making it easy, is like, it's not hard to show somebody else how to do it.
Exactly. I can walk them through it in a few minutes and the pigs are moved to a fresh new plot of land and everybody's happy and healthy. So having a very low maintenance homestead is very important for any time of year, but especially when you are sick.
Yeah.
And like he said, having plenty of feed on hand is very important as well. So having several bags more than what they actually need in a week. I like to have a good month supply on hand, and that includes our dogs and our cat as well. So if for some reason, which we have had several times where, you know, the company that we order our cat and dog food from, they're out 1 month of that certain feed, and you know, you can't abruptly switch dogs and cats to a new food right away. So it's nice to have that buffer of an extra bag or two on hand just in case those situations come up. And then the same for your other homestead animals. It just gives you that assurance that you don't have to leave and go to the feed store and you know, lifting heavy bags of feed while you're sick. It's not what you want to be doing either. So very low maintenance, easy to have help come over if you need it.
Yeah, if you go out of town, like another aspect of it being low maintenance and very easy to operate is, again, you're not tied to it. It's easy to leave for a few days and give someone a checklist of daily chores, and it's easy for them to follow, and it's not so much that you feel like you're a burden on someone else.
Exactly. All right, so that's it. That is our top 10 items that we have prepped and have on hand here in our household that really came in handy while we were sick. It really made our lives a lot easier, things that we didn't have to worry about calling out for or leaving the house to go get. I really don't feel like I could have driven a few of those days.
Right.
Just felt terrible. And
the first day I slept for like 26 hours.
It was like 36 hours. It was a really long time. Yeah. So we know how terrible it is to be sick and not able to do things, and we wish you guys well. We are praying for protection over your households, that none of you experience terrible sickness this season. But we do hope that this list will come in handy if for some reason you do get stuck at home and can't get out to the stores or whatever. We hope that this video is beneficial to you guys.
Yeah, and if there's anything you would add to this list, share it in the comments below for us to see.
Absolutely. That's what we want to do. We want to help each other, keep each other lifted up, and
build a community.
That's right. So thank you guys for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends who you think might benefit from it as well. And until next time,
we'll see you.
See you later.
Happy holidays.
Bye.